This is the existing table for my boat, and I've taken it apart to clean that up. I started sanding the first board. You can see it does look pretty good. The sanders that I'm using are these two. I watched some videos and people are using rotary sanders, and I've always been taught that you have to sand with the grain. So a rotary sander doesn't make any sense to me, but the results were pretty nice. So I have a lot of work to do, prep to do before I even start assigning any kind of finish work to it. But you can see it's a nice table. It does come up like this, and then there's a clever little method on the bottom that there's a board comes across here. It pivots out, and then it holds this guy up. I can't reach it. And then it has the piano hinges here, and I've taken the piano hinge off of that one, and this board's turned out fairly good. Quite a bit more sanding to do on that. And this is the well, I guess we would call this the before. So it is a slow process. You take the wood and you sand it, and you sand it, and you sand it. And of course you have to unassemble it or disassemble it, and then sand it, and keep sanding it. And I have a long way to go. Obviously there's no sponsorship here, but I do like the Ryobi, and I'm particularly fond of this guy, which is a relatively new purchase, because the sandpaper actually just fastens with Velcro type of fastening to the bottom, whereas this guy is a bit of a pain to assemble it and fasten it correctly, and it seems to come out a bit, but I like that guy. Anyway, just a quick progress shot to show that getting a few more pieces to start to get the varnish off. I still have a long way to go as far as sanding goes, but it's I think it is actually starting to look pretty good. Often it helps to have some sort of record of how the pieces are assembled, so that I can put them back the way they're supposed to be. So this is, in a previous video, I showed this little piece. I didn't show this little piece because I couldn't, but this rotates out to hold the leaf when it's in place, and then when it's supposed to be down, then this little piece slides back in. But I just wanted to do a quick video to show myself mostly what these pieces look like that I'm disassembling, so I know how to put it back together properly. There's a nice washer on both sides of this to help it rotate. So it looks like whoever, well, my friend Louis Norris, who has since passed, did this for me the last time, and it looks like he didn't take it apart. He just varnished on top of it. Well, I'll take it apart and get that varnish off of there. I'm getting close to finishing the sanding. You know, you sand, and then you sand, and then you sand, and then you sand some more. So I'm prepped for the next phase, which will be, I have some good materials here, the tack cloth on the left, and then I use the gloves to keep the oil from my hands off of the wood, and then of course the Interlux varnish and a Interlux thinner. So the first several coats that go on will be very, very, very thin. But before that happens, I have teak cleaner parts 1 and 2, which I think are pretty important too. And then I have a little brush there that I use to brush the sand, the wood off of the pieces rather than using my hand to wipe it off. I'm not claiming to be any kind of an expert. I'm just sharing how I approach this. And one of the secrets that I use that has worked for me is that it's not a rush. I take my time, do it right, and take my time again and go back and try to do it even better, so that over the course of several weeks of sanding, I should be ready to move on to the next phase, and I'm all set up with my pieces there in order to do that. It's the middle of September 2024 right now, and it's the end of the season for the boat anyway, so there's no great loss by not having this in the cockpit to set anything on, because probably not going to be up in the cockpit anyway now. My goal is possibly achievable, is to get the sanding completed before the middle of next week, where I'll go back out and spend a week or so on the boat and let the dust settle as much as possible here in my workshop. And then maybe in a couple weeks when I get back, I'll be ready to start actually varnishing, preparing for the varnishing. But I think I might not make my deadline. All right, so now the second coat of Semco teak cleaner has been put on. Did lighten it up a little bit. It got pretty dark on that first one, but on the second one, and the instructions say that it will lighten it up. I hope I didn't kill that ivy down there with the Semco. I don't suspect it would, but anyway, I can see a few spots where I missed some varnish, which is not good. So I'm going to let this stuff dry and come back in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be on the boat for a couple of weeks, but I'll come back home and it should be ready for varnish. All right, so the next phase is the tack cloths to wipe down all of the wood so that it has the least amount of little dust particles on it. Can't get rid of all of them, I'm sure. But yesterday I did the Semco parts 1 and parts 2, and that worked out pretty good. It's a little scary at first because it gets really dark, and then the places where the hinges go, the stainless steel hinges go, I didn't really do a lot of removal there, because there's a little lip there between, there's two surfaces here, and I didn't really want to destroy the second surface. It's just a slight little lip there. You can't, it's on the top here. Let's see. A little bit at the top, and then down here at the bottom. That's where the hinge goes, but it fits in there. I didn't want to grind down the top part. So anyway, this is the next phase, is to tack down all of with the tack cloths, with a professional tack cloth there, and use that to pick up as much little particles that are on the boards as possible. But this is going to sit for a couple of weeks while I'm out on the East Coast on the boat. hopes that the dust will be settled more so than we have right now. And we got the little robot cleaning the floor. I'll use a carpet shampooer to clean this nice rubber floor that I have in my workshop. And I'll get some more of the dust out, and a lot of the dust will settle hopefully over the next 2 weeks, and then on to the next phase.